Favorite features Is That McNuts with the one and only Monica McNutt. And here we go, McNutt. The first one is this. If I said LeBron James is going to leave L.A. this summer, is that McNuts?
Greeny, it's not McNuts, and we did our deep dive on Dave McMenamin's piece the other day. The Lakers have to make a very serious and strategic decision about trying to compete for championships here and now. Also, LeBron James doesn't owe us anything. Like, wherever he wants to go as he's now in the sunset of his career, he could do that.
Absolutely. We'll talk more about him as we go. But tonight we got a pair of game sixes. Let's start in the East. Monica, if I said the Pistons are going to come back and win this series from down 3-2, is that McNuts?
Greeny, I do not think that's McNuts. I think Cade Cunningham is an outstanding leader. I think some of the role players, Dennis Jenkins, Karis LeVert, Tobias Harris, are really starting to figure out some things. I think this group is useful and they have pride. I think they've got a formula to get back to the Cavs.
And in the West, where the Spurs will try and put away their series tonight, if I said San Antonio is not only going to win this, they're going to win the Western Conference, is that McNuts?
Greeny, this one is not McNuts. I do think that they're going to lose tonight, though. I think the Wolves are going to come back. Here's the thing. I have been saying this all year. This team is inexperienced, but I must admit, I've been thoroughly impressed in this postseason run, and Victor Wembanyama is the incredible equalizer in terms of eliminating the inexperience.
Well, Cindy, let's go with B14 here just to set up the conversation. OKC remains the overwhelming favorite to win the West. San Antonio is next, but the Spurs are a 5.5-point favorite to win Game 6 tonight and eliminate the Timberwolves. That's right, they're a 5.5-point favorite on the road tonight. And Jay, we talked about this the other day. In Game 5, when the game was in San Antonio, coming off of the elbow from Wembanyama, the Timberwolves didn't really go at him. They didn't play him particularly physically. They used to call it the Jordan rules. Yeah. Do you expect the Wemby rules to be in effect tonight?
It has to be. And for this, look, the Spurs are 7-3 in the playoffs. Okay, as Wemby goes, so go the Spurs.
Right.
So when you look at game, 2 in the first round matchup against Portland, right? Concussion protocol, he was out. They lost. You look at game 1, first round of this series, like he goes 0 from 8 from the field. Physicality, they lose. The elbow game, the right angry elbow, they lose. You have to be physical with him from the beginning. There's no way he can have 18 points in the first quarter of the way he plays. He has to be on his back each and every possession.
I'll be fascinated, Wendy. I mean, you've been around him since before the rest of the world was talking about him. This is going to be a first for him tonight, however they play it on the floor. I have to imagine the boos are going to be long and loud the first time he touches the ball, and every time he touches the ball, all of the spotlight him in a road game. I'll be fascinated to see how he responds to that.
Yeah, and so much about situations like this is about how the officials let the teams play. And I would expect Minnesota to try to take advantage of being at home to be a little bit rougher in those situations. And the thing about the Spurs, they have impressed me at every step this season with their poise. Yeah. So I do not think Minnesota can count on San Antonio not being ready and handling the situation. They're going to have to beat them straight up.
Fair enough. So there's another matchup, or at least another piece of the strategy, Wendy, you were talking about in our meeting this morning that you're watching for that will decide tonight's game.
Yeah, Greeny, the biggest chess match going on in this series right now is Ant Edwards going against the Spurs defense and trying to keep him from getting the ball and shooting the ball. If he comes up at half court and brings the ball up, they're double teaming him. But then really the last game, in Game 5, they were trying to double team him off of the ball. If you look at Games 3 and 4, Ant averaged 24 shots in those games and 34 points. That's what Minnesota's looking for. Game 5, he played 40 minutes and only got 13 shots up, scoring plunged to 20 points. Just getting the ball into Anthony Edwards' hands tonight is going to be where the rubber meets the road.
Guys, I said this last year, and I thought it was a pivotal mark for Anthony Edwards to continue to progress as a player to the next level. And we keep talking about the similarities between him and Michael Jordan. On all those plays, you're seeing Ant off the ball on the perimeter, getting double team coming off, side pin down actions or fadeaway screens, or when he has the ball in his hands. I still think the best Anthony Edwards possession that we can see is when he is on the block. Michael Jordan talked all the time about you rest on offense when you can post up, because you can see the double team coming over your right or your left shoulder. You can be a playmaker and you can be a scorer. Anthony Edwards is trying to do everything on the perimeter, I think that's the wrong geographical location for him to be on the floor.
It's an interesting point. Monica, I want to be completely fair to Edwards here. I mean, he suffered this really bad knee injury, 3 weeks ago? I mean, so just the mere fact that he's out there playing as much and as well as he is remarkable. But there is a piece of this tonight, as I look at it, like Anthony Edwards sort of looked like he was the next one, right? He was going to be the next great one. And it sort of feels like he's been surpassed by the guy he's playing against tonight, right? Wembanyama is now the next great one. So there's so many storylines, McNutt, I think, as this series plays out.
Yeah, I agree, Greeny, but this is a moment, right? Like, can he keep this series alive? Can he, to Jay's point, find the places on the floor where he can find an advantage versus the Spurs defense that has quite honestly been stifling? I think tonight he will figure it out. He has talked about having conversations with MJ about being on the block. I don't think that's something that is not a part of his game. So I really will be curious to see how that goes tonight. But on the flip side of that, are the Spurs poised enough to close out tonight as well, though? I think Ant is ready for the moment.
What do you think as far as that side of it, Winman?
Yeah, I think if Minnesota needs some help outside of Ant Edwards. Julius Randle has been shut down largely in this series. San Antonio just has so many defensive weapons, even beyond Wembanyama. In Minnesota tonight, they just need points. I know that's ground level analysis. They just need to get some points and make San Antonio have to try to score with them, because San Antonio hasn't been great from 3-point range in this series. And if you rough up Victor a little bit and can get them to force San Antonio to have to score with you, it swings back to Minnesota's favor. But I have been so impressed with the way San Antonio has handled every challenge in this postseason. I understand why they're 5-point favorites tonight.
Do you think they close it out tonight?
I don't. I think Minnesota wins. I also think that you'll see the former Knick and Julius Randle. Yeah. He has to have a monstrous game at home. And he hasn't been having a strong series. I think there's no better way than set that tempo than be aggressive defensively. You might see a lineup change a little bit by Chris Finch, which I think, Nas Reed and company. But I think Julius Randle has to be next level this evening.
I'm with you. He's a player to watch tonight. Again, both Game 6s tonight. More hoops as we continue. Back to the football as well. Can a Brewer
has the ball a lot and is doing a lot. Wembanyama, 16 of their 24. Wemby's back. High archer is good. Took it and made it. Wow. 18-point hole they have dug out of. 2 feet for the dunk. 7 straight for the Spurs. 1 win from the Western Conference Finals.
Mercy beaucoup, my friend.
Oh, pas de quoi. The T-Wolves face elimination tomorrow back at the Target Center. Got to find a way to slow down Wemby. The Alien was the 3rd youngest player in playoff history with a 25-15-5 game in a Game 5, behind only Luka and Magic Johnson. Chris Finch was asked today how his superstar, Anthony Edwards, can force this series back to San Antonio.
We need those games from him, that we know he can have, and so I think Ant's got a lot left in the tank. We talked about the 2-day break. We know he's going to be super aggressive coming out here. We know they're going to try to throw multiple bodies and multiple looks at him. The things that we're ready for, he's ready for, and we just got to get him a lot more shots.
I think no matter what, we have to stay physical. We have to stay focused on the game plan, and we have to keep bringing the effort. And then obviously offensively, I think a lot of it is spacing. Shots go in or they don't go in. That's basketball, but I think just keep trusting one another, keep spacing for one another, keep screening for one another, keep running for one another. All these things, I think, are really the thing that we can't put aside. And if we do that, I think regardless of who's on the court, we put ourselves in a position to win.
Joined now by our very own Kendrick Perkins, an NBA champion in his own right. Perk, we got a couple teams facing elimination tomorrow night. Let's just keep it in this series. Start with Minnesota. Spurs looking to close it out. What must the Wolves do to force a Game 7?
Well, number one, they got to bring a level of physicality, right, and play with some passion and a sense of urgency. And yes, we know Anthony Edwards, he's all about that life. But Julius Randle, he got to show up. He has been non-existent when it comes to him playing in this series. Yes, he had a pretty decent Game 1, but since then, he has fell off like no limit. And in order for the Timberwolves to get a win and stand a chance against this great Spurs team, he's going to have to be great offensively and defensively and impose his will. Anthony Edwards need help. At some point, Julius Randle has to help a brother out. I believe he will feed off the energy of the crowd, and he will do his best and put on a great performance and help push a Game 7.
Now, to the East, Perk, after a frustrating ending to Game 5, the Pistons find themselves in yet another elimination game. Which Piston needs to step up and help Cade Cunningham to force a Game 7?
Well, as we can see, they're all NBA caliber center. He's not going to help. The moment is just too big for him, and I'm talking about Jalen Duren. It got to be Tobias Harris. And Tobias Harris has been really, really good for the Pistons this postseason. And he's going to have to be great in Game 6 in order for them to extend this series, because Cade Cunningham is giving them everything and more. And you can tell he's running out of gas in the fourth quarter. So in that half-court set, in transition, Tobias Harris is going to have to find a way to get going. He loves the mid-post area. He loves catching the ball in position at that nail area to be able to go isolation and knock down timely threes. In order for the Pistons to advance, they're going to have to be better offensively and match the firepower of their dynamic backcourt in Harden and Donovan Mitchell. Otherwise, they're going to get their ass sent home.
Hey, Perkin, we saw the stat on screen. Tobias Harris back-to-back games, sub 20 points. Prior to that, he had gone 20 or more in 8 straight, got Detroit to this point. Big Perk, thanks so much for joining us here on SportsCenter.